Does anyone here play video games at all? No? Nobody? Well, my name is David Carezzi, and today I'm here to discuss my paper, which was written to show the potential benefits of video games for school-aged children. Now, one might ask why I'm talking about video games in a class like this. In case this wall behind me isn't enough of an indicator, I am passionate about video games. To me, at least, they are an underrated medium of art. However, not many others tend to see this way, and instead often see them as violent, unhealthy wastes of time. And the reason I chose children specifically instead of just any age group is because I plan on becoming an elementary school teacher in the future. As such, I wanted my topic to be related to children in some form, while also being related to something I know a lot about, which is video games. My presentation will be divided into three main parts. First, I will discuss how video games can be used to promote critical thinking. Second, I will discuss how video games were once used to relieve anxiety. And finally, I will give a brief example of video games used in classrooms. This brings me to my first point, which is that video games can be used to promote critical thinking. If you look on the left side of my visual, you will see a screenshot of the popular puzzle game Tetris, released in the 1980s on nearly every video game console known to man. Pardon me. If you look on the right side of my visual, you will see a screenshot of Portal 2, which I will be discussing a bit more here. The Portal franchise in general is regarded as one of the most accessible video game franchises of all time. Meaning, if you're new to video games or you've never played them before, Portal 1 and 2 are considered great starting points as they are easy to pick up and play for anyone of any skill level. The games work like this. You get a portal gun that can shoot two portals, a blue and an orange. If you go in the blue portal, you come out the orange portal. Simple as that. However, there are some caveats. Each level features surfaces where portals cannot be placed. As such, players are required to use the surfaces where portals can be placed to the best of their advantage. Some levels also require objects to be placed on buttons to open the gateway to the next level. Overall, the Portal series is a great, entertaining way for children to challenge their brain while not being a directly educational game, which some might not like. So now I would like to talk about a specific example of how video games were once used to relieve anxiety in children. Pardon me again. Surgery can be a very nerve-wracking experience for children, or any of us, really, for those who've never had it. And a Boston area anesthesiologist tried to combat this issue. As I read in an article by Matt Hickey, this anesthesiologist came up with the Pedi Sedate, which is pictured on the left side of my visual. It will plug into an original Nintendo Game Boy, pictured on the right, and it will go on like a pair of headphones. That little thing you see attached to them is a cup that goes over the nose. It works like this. A child could be sitting on the operating bed playing their games, and while they're doing that, the anesthesiologist will monitor their progress in the game. As they see progress being made, they will discreetly administer small amounts of nitrous oxide until the child is fully unconscious and as such ready to be operated on. Unfortunately, this device never made it past the patent and testing stages. However, if it were commercially released, chances are it would still be being used in hospitals today. Now lastly, I would like to talk about video games being used in the classroom. And this goes back to Portal 2 for a little while here. In 2012, Valve, the publishers of Portal, launched the Learn with Portals program. In essence, this is a level editor for Portal 2, available for teachers to design levels for physics lessons for high school or sometimes middle school students. These lessons can teach anything from momentum to gravity, depending on what the students need to learn. Pardon me. If you look on the right side, you will see a worksheet that was used by a high school teacher in a physics lesson using Portal 2 and the Learn with Portals program. Those are games that were specifically made to be in the classroom. However, there are some video games that are not directly made to be educational, but end up being such anyway. If you look on the left side of my visual, you will see a screenshot of Gran Turismo 6, displaying the statistics of a 2014 Chevrolet Corvette. Many Many young children like to play with toy cars in their young ages, and for some of them, this interest in toy cars grows to an interest in real-world cars. Racing games that feature real-world automobiles, such as Gran Turismo pictured here, often display the real-world statistics of these automobiles, including horsepower, weight, and drivetrain layout in this game's case. It can be a great way for children with a budding interest in cars to start learning about them. So, that concludes everything I wanted to discuss today. To recap, video games can be used to promote critical thinking with games like Tetris and Portal 2. They can be used to relieve anxiety, as we saw with the Petty Sedate example. And they can also be used to educate, as we see with the Learn with Portals program and with some non-educational games. I want to thank you all for taking your time to listening to me. And with that,